Hello my friends! Let's open this Unicorn English paper piecing kit from psthreads together. In the box, you'll get all the tools to start EPPing today, so let's get into it. You'll get a needle minder, super sharp snips, a spool of Aurifil thread, a disappearing glue stick, plenty of fabric for any color combo, the pattern, and the in-depth pattern booklet. All kits from psthreads come in this perfect size box for easy travel, and so far this box has fit into every travel bag I have packed it in. So first of all, I'm going to make a little color card. For this, I'm going to cut a tiny strip of fabric from each of my colors and attach them to this piece of cardstock. At this point, I realized I had to thread my machine, and this took a moment. Once sewn onto the card, I've trimmed it up and added a title for my records. Let's give a little bit of thought on where the colors will go. The unicorn body will be these minty greens, and the hair will be the pink. There's 4 sections in this pattern, and I'm going to cut out each section, but I'm going to keep them whole until it's time to sew them together. I'm doing this so I'm less likely to lose any pieces. I have A, B, C, and D sections. I'll be working in section A first. Let's get organized, and then I'll cut out all those pieces. I like to keep the paper pieces placed in their spots on how they're supposed to be sewn together. It's easier to keep track of which piece goes where. I'm going to cut around my template with a 1/4 to 3/4 inch seam allowance. You gotta be really careful with smaller seam allowance as the edges are more likely to fray while you're stitching and during your washes. Going larger than 3/4 will add unnecessary bulk to your quilt. I'll be using the glue stick that came in the box to baste all of these pieces. I have no hard rules about how to glue baste. I am not the quilt police. There's a few ways you can glue baste. You can glue the fabric, glue the paper, or just glue the ever-loving out of it. I just get it on there. The more glue you use, however, the more likely you are to get sticky, gummy fingers, and that can dirty up your fabric. Add your glue however you decided and fold over your seam allowance. You don't want to fold too tight because that will make things harder later on when sewing things together. Pulling your fabric too tight can also lead to the warping of your fabric, so let's be gentle with it. Ensure all of your edges are securely glued to the paper template. If any edges are loose, apply a bit more glue and press down firmly. For crispier edges, you can press the glued fabric with an iron. Be sure the glue is completely dry before pressing and apply a thin, even layer of glue to avoid excess glue that can make fabric stiff or difficult to sew. If your fingers get gummy, give them a good wash before moving on to this next step. Repeat until all the pieces in the set are basted. Let's get into the sewing. Feel free to refer back to the booklet for sewing instructions. Cut your thread about 18 inches long or from your fingers to your elbow. Any longer can cause more knots or can snag on the dog ears. I've done it before, so if you feel confident, get into it. Tie a knot at the end of the thread. I've just gone with a standard knot. I'm not here to be the knot police. I'll be using the flatback stitch. The flatback stitch keeps your stitches hidden from the front, which is a look I like. The flatback stitch is just going through the back of the fabric. So let's butt our 2 pieces up next to each other like they want to hold hands, and push your needle through just the back of the fabric. I have fat thumbs, so it's easy for me to hold the 2 pieces together. However, if you need some extra help, 2 magnets or some washi tape works great. Push your needle through just a tiny bit of the back fabric on each side, pulling tight but not so tight that the thread breaks. Pull until the knot catches. Now we're going to repeat this step until the end of the piece. Bring your needle back over and push back through. We are aiming for about 18 to 22 stitches per inch. I also like to periodically flip my piece over and check the front to make sure not much is showing and everything looks lined up and good. Keeping your stitches small and even will ensure the pieces are securely attached and those stitches will remain hidden. If you've reached a spot where the dog ears are in the way, just push them up and out of the way, and once you're done, push them back into place. With the flat back stitching, you also want to keep your needle perpendicular to keep your stitches straight. So again, just push your 2 pieces flat up against each other side by side. You'll want to hold both pieces with your thumb and forefinger, and just push your needle through just a tiny bit of the back fabric on each side, grabbing just a bit more than a few strands of the fabric. The neat thing about the flat back stitch is even if you grab a bit more, the stitches are still hidden from the front. When you have sewn all the way around the block or to the end, tie a knot on the inside of the piece to secure the thread, making sure the knot is tight to prevent unraveling. You could also trim any excess thread. Now just keep going. This might be the hardest part. Just keep stitching until everything is attached. Don't get distracted and check your phone. I know it takes a while, but the end results are so precise and pretty. It is well worth it. I actually like to put on a podcast or a documentary to help time go by. Now continue to add more pieces in the same manner, always sewing on the back side to keep those stitches hidden, making small, neat stitches. So we've got just a little bit left in this video. My kid needed some snacks, so I'll be picking this one up again in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you're working on this pattern. I'd love to see your progress and color options. See you next time, my friends!